Wait, before you scroll past this, look at this piece of wood. Rotting, gray, cracked. Most people would throw this straight in the trash. But watch what happens when I rub just $2 worth of this liquid onto it. Give it 60 seconds. 60 seconds and this dead forgotten wood looks like it just came out of a furniture showroom. No sanding, no staining, no expensive products, just this. And the craziest part? This trick has existed since 1939, so why does almost nobody know about it? Keep watching, because by the end of this video, you are never going to look at old wood the same way again. Hey, it's Victor Renard, and welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is about one thing: finding the simple, forgotten tricks that actually work, and sharing them before they disappear again. And today I want to tell you a story, not just a how-to, a real story about why this trick existed, why it vanished, and why right now in 2024, millions of people are quietly rediscovering it in their garages and backyards without telling a single contractor about it. So let's go back to the 1930s. The Great Depression is happening, people have almost nothing. No money for new furniture, no money for wood stain, no money for a carpenter, but they still had homes to maintain. They still had wooden floors, wooden furniture, wooden porches that were cracking and graying under the sun. And necessity, as they say, is the mother of invention. So these incredibly resourceful people who wasted absolutely nothing, they figured something out. They figured out that you could restore wood completely using something so cheap, so simple, and so widely available that it almost sounds like a joke when you first hear it. And what's wild is that it actually works better than most products sitting on the shelves at your hardware store right now. The secret is a mixture of two things you can find for under $2 combined: white vinegar and canola oil. That's it. I know what you're thinking. Victor, come on. Vinegar and cooking oil? Yes. Hear me out, because the science behind why this works is actually fascinating, and once you understand it, you'll never need to spend $40 or $50 on wood restoration products again. Here's what's happening to old wood when it looks gray and dead. The wood isn't actually destroyed. What's happened is that the natural oils inside the wood fiber have completely dried out over time. Sun, wind, moisture, dry air, they pull the oils right out of the wood and leave it looking cracked, faded, and brittle. The gray color you see, that's oxidation. It's the surface of the wood essentially reacting to years of exposure. The wood underneath is still perfectly alive. It's just desperately thirsty. Now, when you take canola oil, which has a molecular structure that is incredibly close to the natural oils found inside wood, and you apply it to the surface, the wood literally drinks it in. It absorbs it at a cellular level and begins to look rich, dark, and full again almost immediately. But here's where the vinegar does something magical. On its own, oil would sit on the surface and eventually go rancid or attract dust. But vinegar is mildly acidic, and that acidity does two things. First, it strips away that gray oxidation layer on contact, essentially cleaning the wood at a microscopic level. Second, it acts as a carrier that helps the oil penetrate deeper into the grain, rather than just coating the surface. Together, these two ingredients do in 60 seconds what a hardware store product does in 60 minutes, and they do it for about $2 instead of $45. Now I want you to picture something. You have a wooden deck out back. It's been there for 15 years. It looks terrible, faded, gray, with little cracks starting to form in the boards. Your neighbor sees it and says, "Man, you should really restain that." You go to the hardware store. The guy in the orange apron walks you to an entire aisle of wood restoration products. He picks up a can and tells you, "This is the best one. $42. You'll need 2 or 3 cans for a full deck." You go home, you spend the whole weekend sanding, prepping, and applying. And it looks okay. Maybe it looks good. But here's the problem. You have to do it again in 2 or 3 years. Because those commercial products are designed to sit on top of the wood, not penetrate it. And anything sitting on top of wood eventually peels, chips, or wears away. The 1939 mixture doesn't sit on top. It becomes part of the wood. That's the fundamental difference. And that's exactly the reason why, somewhere along the way, this knowledge quietly stopped being passed down. Because there is no profit in a $2 solution that lasts indefinitely. There is no business model for telling people to go buy cooking oil and white vinegar. So it got replaced, slowly, quietly, product by product, aisle by aisle, until an entire generation grew up not knowing this existed. And the contractors? Look, I want to be fair here. Most contractors are hardworking, honest people. But the industry has absolutely no incentive to tell you that the same result is sitting in your kitchen cabinet right now. Think about the last time a professional came to your house and said, "Actually, you know what? You don't need to hire me for this." Never happens. And I'm not here to make anyone a villain. I'm just here to give you information that you deserve to have. Now let me walk you through exactly how to do this, because the application is almost as simple as the ingredients. You want to mix 3 parts canola oil to 1 part white vinegar. Just plain white vinegar. The kind that costs about $1 at any grocery store. Canola oil from the cooking oil, same thing. You mix them together in any container. And I like to put mine in an old spray bottle because it makes application incredibly easy, but a cloth works just as well. Before you apply anything, make sure your wood surface is dry and free of loose debris. You don't need to sand it, you don't need to prime it, just wipe off any dirt or dust with a dry cloth. Now apply your mixture directly to the wood and rub it in with a soft cloth using circular motions. You'll see the color change almost immediately. That gray oxidized surface will start to disappear, and the natural wood tone underneath will come through like it's waking up. Give it about 15 minutes to absorb fully, and then buff off any excess with a clean dry cloth. That's the entire process. 15 minutes, $2. For really old or deeply weathered wood, you can do a second application about an hour after the first. And for outdoor wood, decks, fences, patio furniture, I recommend reapplying once every 6 to 12 months, depending on your climate. But even with that, you're still spending maybe $10 a year versus $40 to $60 every 2 to 3 years on commercial products. The math just doesn't compare. Now, I do want to take a second here and talk about safety because this matters. Anytime you're working with oil-soaked cloths, you want to be careful. Lay them flat to dry outdoors after you use them rather than bunching them up because oil-soaked rags left in a pile can generate heat over time. It's a rare risk, but it's worth knowing about. Work in a ventilated area, which for most people means just working outside or in an open garage. And as always, keep your work area clear and be aware of your surroundings. This is a genuinely safe process. You're working with food-grade ingredients, but good habits in any DIY project are always worth maintaining. I also want to address something that comes up in the comments every time I share a tip like this. People ask, Victor, if this actually works, why isn't it everywhere? Why don't more people know? And honestly, it's a great question, and I think the answer is a little uncomfortable. We live in a world where information is filtered through commerce. The things that get marketed to you are things that someone profits from. The things that nobody profits from, they get buried. Not through some grand conspiracy, just through the simple reality that free solutions don't get advertising budgets. They don't get shelf space, they don't get influencer deals, they get passed from neighbor to neighbor, from grandparent to grandchild, in quiet moments that the market has no interest in. And when those generational chains break, when people move, when families scatter, when old knowledge isn't written down, these tricks disappear for decades, until someone rediscovers them. And right now that's exactly what's happening. People are tired of expensive products that underdeliver. They're going back to basics. They're finding that the basics work better, and they're sharing it with each other faster than any algorithm can bury it. I've used this mixture on a wooden dining table that my grandmother left me. It had been sitting in a storage unit for 11 years. When I got it out, it looked beyond saving. Gray, cracked, absolutely heartbreaking to see. I mixed up this solution, spent about 20 minutes applying it, and I want to tell you that I sat in my kitchen afterward and just stared at that table for a long time. Because it looked the way I remembered it looking when I was 7 years old sitting at her house for Sunday dinner. That's what this trick did. It didn't just restore wood. It restored something that felt irreplaceable. And that's why I keep making these videos. Not because I'm against the hardware store or against contractors or against commercial products, but because I believe that knowledge should belong to people. Real, practical, tested knowledge that helps you take care of your home, your belongings, your family, without always having to reach for your wallet. The world is expensive enough. Your grandparents' rocking chair shouldn't cost you $40 to restore when $2.15 will do it better. So here's what I want you to do right now. Go to your kitchen, get your white vinegar, get your canola oil. Find one piece of old wood in your home, a chair leg, a fence board, a picture frame, anything, and try this today. Don't take my word for it. Let the wood speak for itself. And when it does, come back here and tell me in the comments what you restored. Because I read every single one of them, and there is nothing I love more than hearing that someone saved something they thought was lost. The most powerful solutions in life are almost always the simplest ones. The hard part is just remembering to look for them before you assume something is beyond saving. I'm Victor Renard. I'll see you in the next one.